As a child, I normally go to the stream, we do fishing, a lot of things. But now, as I speak to you, most of those things are no more feasible. My name is Obroma Agumagu. I'm a second year PhD looking at hydrological trends of the Niger Delta region, their drivers, and policy alignment to manage the challenges. We all know that land cover change is accelerating the effect of climate change in the coastal region. Reason because the Niger Delta region is where the oil and gas in Nigeria is situated, so there are a lot of activities, there are a lot of drivers such as industrialization, deforestation, agriculture, population, urbanization. So I'm actually looking at the past climate, which is able to inform today's by looking at land cover change, sea level rise, coastal flooding, high rainfall, warming trend, how land cover is contributing to it. And also looking at policy. There are policies in Nigeria that cut across the environment, agriculture, water, forestry. I'm looking at how aligned and coherent these policies are in addressing hydrological hazards in the Niger Delta region.
What are the challenges of your research?
Accurate measurements as regards the parameter that you're using that will inform what you're looking at. Actually having problem in getting a reliable data, because that's the only thing that will inform my project and to be able to get the aim, what I'm looking at. I'm having problem assessing there are some data, in African country, that's the problem we're faced with, to get the reliable data to inform what you're doing. Presently, I've been able to analyze land cover change from 1986 to date to understand the changes. Previously, I told you that University of York is enabling as regards such software to be able to navigate the land cover from the past and today. But there are also other challenges like getting the reliable data such as rainfall data, river discharge, because this region is situated within the Guinea Gulf, where most of the major rivers in the country they empty in the Niger Delta region. So for me to be able to understand hydrological trends in this region, there's need for me to analyze sea level rise. We all know as the temperature is increasing, it's influencing precipitation and also translating to discharge in this because it's a low-lying area. So these data are all there. But for me to be able to get those ones in African countries, especially Nigeria and in this region, is challenging. But nevertheless, collaboration and also constant research has been able to make it much more easier for me to actually access this data. The progress, the project is actually moving forward from what it used to be to a greater what it will be in the future.
What is the problem your research is looking to address?
This research's focus is to look at hydrological trends. According to IPCC is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. They are the scientific body in charge of climate change. They have classified hydrological hazards such as high rainfall, sea level rise, river flows, warming trend. That's, as the temperature increases, the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere have been increased. And as a low-lying area, climate change says that because they are low-lying, it's very difficult for water to flow out. So, it makes up the place. So that's actually, I'm looking at how overflow such as flooding in this region, unlike the arid region, unlike the northern side where they are confronted with drought, lack of water. But this region is how excess water is penetrating, is affecting key risk sectors. There are key risk sectors that IPCC also classified. These are the coastal region is part of the key risk sectors. We're talking about agriculture, a big farm here, and if it overflows, the impact on the agricultural producer. We're talking about the environment, we're talking about forestry. Forest is looked at as a means of mitigative aspect of what I'm doing. That's why I'm actually analyzing land cover, because the more the vegetation is being decreased, the more porous the more accessible water is to this region. Mangrove is a buffer. It's also help for resilience in this region, but these mangroves over the years have been destroyed by man's activities. So I'm looking at how these activities are contributing to hydrological hazards. So how is it being managed by the government? So I'm looking at how coherent. Nigeria is signatory to international treaties that has to do with climate change, UNFCCC. So those policies are there. So now I'm looking at each of those, the policies cut across environment, agriculture, forestry, water resources, petroleum. Petroleum service is coming in because of petroleum activity in this region. They are actually the major corporates contributing to degradation of the ecosystem and making the region less value of itself. So these are what the research is trying to look at. If you look at it invariably, my research is looking at the causes of climate change in this region and the remedy aspect, which is the policy.
What is your PhD hoping to change?
My PhD is actually going to influence the policy in management of hydrological hazards in this region. I grew up in the Niger Delta region. As a child, I normally go to the stream. We do fishing, a lot of things. But now, as I speak to you, most of those things are no more feasible. They are no more there as a result of the problem I'm actually kind of trying to tell you that is influencing it. I wish I was making a presentation, maybe PowerPoint presentation. I would have been able to show you some pictures that speaks on this region now and what it used to be in the past. So my research is actually standing out among other people that have looked at this issue in this region, but they actually did not look at our policy. Because, we're talking about climate change. You already know about Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. There's the IPCC that I mentioned, the United Nations Framework for Climate. These are bodies that are looking at this climate change issue on adaptation and mitigation in a global level, okay? But when you come to the regional, the state, where you're looking at, the government is that they have already committed themselves to do all this. So one needs to look at those policies, those tools that the government say we're going to do this with, are the parameter like when I was analyzing the policies, because my supervisor made me to analyze the policy, to actually be informed about what the policy entails, so that when I go to the field, when I'm talking with the participants, the stakeholders, I'll be able to understand when they are talking about the policies, maybe their challenges such as the lack of fund, political will. My research is going to inform the policy on the right direction in management of hydrological hazards in the Niger Delta region.
What would you like that region to look like in the future?
As an environmentalist, we normally say there's something they call polluter pays principle, whereby if you are able to pollute the environment, you should be able to account for what you're polluting. So this region, if they are so important to Nigerian government, their livelihood should not be degraded, jeopardized. There should be something for them to say, I should be proud of coming from Niger Delta. Just as I'm talking, I'm actually proud of coming from Niger, but the resources from the Niger Delta should be used to manage the region. The region shouldn't be, they found oil in Niger Delta. It shouldn't be a cause. It should be a thing of joy. Like you could see African students running to the West to school. Like I told you, the enabling environments are there. Do you know those resources can actually be managed properly in the country? But because of poor policy management, most of the things are not supposed to be where it is. Okay, so should we leave the problem like that? So there's need to understand how this region could be managed in the future. The future should not be as what it is now. The future should be more, things over there should be more sustainably managed. Thank you very much for this great opportunity. I'm actually very, thank you. Bye.